Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, here we are at the wake of our dear friend Djfrontline, and he has quite a turnout to know that it's still COVID. Everybody is wearing their masks and they're still practicing social distancing. So let's say good night to Mahendra Ramcharan, Premier, how you doing? Hey Mary Edward, Bridget, how you doing? Bridget Mohabir, Sukjai Mangal, Khas, how you doing? Vijay, thank you. And then we did see Roshan Shiftaran here earlier. Mavis Prasad, Ruby Raghunandan, Riaz, how you doing? Navin Ramnarayan, Vera Prasad, it's Cynthia. Kamini Rivera, how are you doing, my friend? I know a lot of folks are actually inside of the wake house, but we want to talk to you guys. So because they're playing music, we decided to come here so we can actually communicate and talk to you. Hey, Select Abid in Toronto, Bridget, thank you. Yeah, I see it's crowded inside their community. Thank you. We will come in to get a few clips of what's going on, the religious ceremony that's going on. You know, I've known Djfrontline for quite a number of years. He actually DJ for one of my charity events back last year. And as I was telling Ken earlier, last week he called me and he wanted to be on my cooking show because he is such a fun and loving guy that he loves experimenting, he loves music, he loves his bike, he loves his car, and he wanted to come and have fun on my cooking program. So yeah, we did make arrangements, so I will be in his kitchen cooking something fancy. I said, what are you gonna make, Djfrontline? He said, don't worry, it's a surprise. So I didn't know what he had in mind to prepare on TV for you guys. Hey Josh, good evening to you. Shanaz B, how you doing? Harry George, thank you. Karen Smith, Djfrontline is a well-known DJ in our community. He actually played for some of the biggest singers from Bollywood when they come to New York, the biggest band. And tell me your contact with him. How did you?
Well, good evening to all of you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We decided tonight to bring this event, Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken, here at Djfrontline home. But you know what, Shanaz, I met him one or two times at the shows, and but what really drew my attention to all of this is because, you know, so much love and support he is getting from our community that one has to wonder. And I slept with him on my mind last night, and this morning when I woke up, I was thinking about him too at the same time. So he has a lot of influence in our Indo-Caribbean community here in Richmond Hill. So that's a good thing. I thought in my mind, I said, you know, Shanaz would know him much better. But, you know, I haven't had much interaction with him. But seeing the love on Facebook, it has really drawn my attention.
He DJed for actually almost everyone he actually DJed for. He does a lot of yard party if he's not doing a big event. And his father-in-law is actually outside in the group. So we'll try to bring him on camera so he could say good night to you guys. Maureen, how are you doing? Mary Edwards, good night to you. And the beautiful Nazila Dhanraj, good evening to you. Iqbal Sharif, Nandrani Janki, Anna Ramjeet, Rishi Rambali, how you're doing? Pam Hernandez, Nalini Chow, Shelly Mahadev, Sarojini, Usha, Sita Prasad, Ramesh, Jennifer Bola, how you doing? Oma, everybody actually is, they're far apart, nobody's coughing, they're practicing social distancing. Robert Trump, thank you very much. Indira, how you doing? Thank you guys very much, and yes, it's heartbreaking to see a well-known guy, a well-loved guy from our community pass so sudden. This was a shock that we woke up on Saturday morning.
That's right. You know, and surprisingly, Shanaz, I work not too far from there, and I was passing there on Friday morning, and surprisingly, Saturday morning when I woke up, I saw all the blood on the road, and I said to myself that this person who got hit with this motorbike has to pass away because there was a lot of bleeding and a lot of blood on the road. So it has to be sad. And another thing, you know, Shanaz, we want to say that, you know, whenever someone dies at such a young age, it has to bother us, you know, because, and especially a man like him, who, from what I was told, 40 years old, all the way from Kanji in Barbados, came to the United States for a better life. Unfortunately, he died. You know, the other thing is, Shanaz, when you die like this, it has to be sad. It is sad for the wife and the two daughters. Also, we heard that his wife is pregnant for a son. And what I have to tell you, it has to be hard for the wife. But Shanaz, the wife is pregnant and she has to tread very lightly in how she deals with this. Because, you know, with too much stress, she can lose this baby. And that's what not we really want to happen. The good thing what we see last night is that I've observed the daughters, and what I saw is that they look very strong. And it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of strong when you have everyone around you. The things that when you break down is when you're alone, when everyone is gone, and the reality actually kicks in to say, you know, this one hits close to home. I didn't really want to think about it all weekend. I didn't want to ponder on it, but it's the same tragedy that happened to my brother 11 years ago, and I finally started to support. They need you now more than ever as a community, and I could see, as much as we are small, Richmond Hill is so small, everyone is actually out here. They went to the 120th Street where the accident happened, and they continue to come here and keep awake and give the support. And remember, even though things might be settling in a few days, it's important to reach out to the wife. As we said, she's pregnant, she needs the support from her family, her dad is here, and we'll continue to be here. Shanti Singh, how you doing? Good night to you. Nandrani Jinky, how you're doing? Guys, please, you could reach out in a few days, but don't overwhelm her right now with all the calls, you know. Let her deal with it differently. Shelly Mahadev, how you doing? Sherry Tedram, how you doing? David Prasad.
Leela, thank you very much. Sodia Mangal, thanks for tuning in. Annette Raj, Vina Ingrid Masdale, thank you very much.
Anita Jack Group, Miss Ches, how you doing? Sunita, good evening to you. Jennifer Bola, how you doing?
Iqbal Sharif, it's always good to have Iqbal Sharif on the live.
Josh Mohabir, how you doing? Mary Edwards. We do have a few famous people from our community, like Mr. Richard David, who's around. They're playing dominoes, but
we'll get Richard to talk to us in a minute. So just be patient with us, and be glad that you guys tuned in. Shanaz, also, you were talking about your brother, you know, a couple of years ago, and this, as you said, hit close home to both of us as we were talking earlier today on the phone. My brother, in 2010, I was sleeping. I woke up to go to the bathroom, and as I returned back to bed, I got a phone call from my sister. My brother was 32 years old, and as I was heading back, go back to the bed to lie down, the phone rang, and my sister said, you know what, that Derek died. So I said, what happened? All of a sudden at 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden she said, you know what, the police came, knocked on the door and said my brother was involved in an accident on the Grand Central right here in Queens, the border of Queens and Long Island. So it has to be tough because, number one, why it was tough for me and you, I had to go and identify my brother, and I went to the accident scene to see really what happened. And Shanaz, it was hard for me because when I looked at the accident scene, my brother like pitched from like about 200 feet away from where the impact happened, and I could see all the brain matters right through all his on the road and so on, and all the trees was broken. Also, I had to go and identify the body, and I was able to, they took off his clothes, and I could see fracture, his arm was fractured, his leg was fractured, he had a lot of head injury. So probably one of the best things that I'd say happened is, you know, when these things happen, rather than you live and to be and suffer, to be
kind of head trauma is worth, you know, surviving and staying alive. Hey, Amita Raj, how you doing? Ryan Jeffrey, thank you very much, guys. There's a GoFundMe link. Ryan will put it in the chat box, and please contribute because, you know, as we all say, death is something unexpected. You don't know if the family is prepared for it, and whether they're prepared or not, she will be having a lot of oncoming expenses with her 2 daughters and a newborn baby on the way. So if you guys could really chip in and help out, $5, I'll just urge you, $5, not a lot. That's a cup of coffee, and you know, it will go towards his funeral, his burial. Vanessa, how you doing? Good evening to you. Shanti Singh.
Hasina Vanu, all the way from Canada. And Shanti, thank you very much for singing last night. I was listening to your song. So nice of you. And Devi, Sushil Devi, you guys did a marvelous job. I'm so glad you came out and you're supporting all of us and representing all of us in this difficult time.
Right. Shanti has been with Djfrontline at many events because, as we said, they're outgoing like musicians, so he's always DJing for so many people. He DJed for Umardat Maharaj, they send their love and their condolences. Everybody from Trinidad actually reached out. Where Raymond Ramnarine. You know, he's a well-known and he's a love guy. You know, when you love and you're fun, everybody wants to be around you because you're like the party. You know, like the life of the party. So guys, do contribute. Ryan Jeffrey, DJ Fest just put that link up in there for the GoFundMe. Maureen Ramcharan, how you doing? Revenger Ramcharan, how you doing? We will take you inside. I see they have some music inside, religious music, of course. Rita, Jagmon, how you doing? And let's talk. I know as much as we talk about DJ Frontline was always on the music side, he loved religious music too. Right? He was always going to church and mandirs and stuff on Sundays. So we all have that hobby that we love. We love TV, we love radio, we love music. But we still have that hobby. We encourage you to, it's good to have a hobby, it's healthy to have a hobby, but never forget God. He always was a religious guy and prayed. I have our host and host just arrived, and that's no other than Imran Ahmad. Rita Jagmon, how are you doing? Shanti, thank you. Vanessa Prasad, Maria Harris.
And you know, I have to say, Shanaz, it's alright if you don't see my face, as long as you can hear my voice. What I admire about this family is that the daughters, they are doing a good job in standing up. The mother also, yesterday, I saw her, you know, embracing her daughter, supporting her daughter in this difficult time. So I'm hoping that things will work out for them because the daughters are so big and they are brave. The other thing is, Shanaz, is that when you have religion in you, it helps, right?
It is. It does help. We will have a word with our host and host pretty soon, Mr. Imran Ahmad, after he finished one of the interviews. You know, a lot of media are here just trying to show their support and get their encouragement out there. Jennifer Bola, how you doing, guys? I urge you to contribute. Annette Raj, how you doing? Contribute to that GoFundMe link. I want to see, while we are here live, I want to see the difference. So Ryan Jeffrey will go in the GoFundMe and then we'll go after our live to see what an impact it made. How much did we actually make it through to you guys? You contribute just $5, not a lot, $5 to DJ Frontline's final expenses.
That's right, and it's so sad, you know, such a young age. You know, Shanaz, I've always heard this, that like when I'm driving, I never let's talk some safety. Let's talk about some safety issue here for you guys, and this has nothing to do with this incident here. But I've always learned, I've traveled around the United States, drove 18 hours straight drive, me and a friend, drove all over the United States. I've always heard this one thing, never drive faster than your guiding angel. So when you're guarding angel, don't go faster than them. The other thing is I've heard, and I'm sure you heard as a young man, my dad nearly died with a motorbike accident years ago in Guyana, and I promised myself that I would never get a motorbike. So, you know, they say when you buy a motorbike, you buy also a car from behind you because somehow they're going to die. So I would encourage, my boys said sometimes I want to get a motorbike, and I tell them plain I don't want any motorbike in this house.
Right.
I have seen enough what the bike has done for my family.
That's right. No one I encourage to get a motorbike, especially in New York where the traffic is so crazy and everybody's safety is, you know, out there. Hey, we have our celebrity in the building. You have to say hi. You know, you were just hanging out with Mr. Amir Khan.
Good night, everyone.
You want to say something? Sit down. Just 2 minutes.
So we have Amir Khan here. He's in New York, and you guys heard him a couple of weeks ago sing. So tonight we're just going to ask him to say just a few words tonight of exclusivity. So go ahead, Amir.
First of all, I want to say my condolences to the family of DJ Frontline. He was a good guy. He was very special to me. His last play out, I was there. I remember that he actually pushes my song a lot and stuff like that. Only last Saturday, we had a wedding to play out, and he messaged me and he was like, "Yo bro, what's up? You want to sing 2 songs at the wedding?" I was like, "Okay, cool, I'm cool with that." So I went, and it was good. And I remember he hugged me and stuff, and he was like, "I'm your Khan, all the way from Guyana." That was like, you know, like, it was very good. For me, I felt like, that's a brother there.
What does this lesson, what can we learn from this lesson that, for me, treat everyone with love and respect today, because you don't know if you'll see each other again or if you'll see each other alive. That's the question. We don't know how this life will treat us. So, treat them with love, respect, understanding, because you never know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, I remember one thing that he told me too, that when music is fun, he could be anywhere DJing and stuff, playing out. He told me that music is life, music is fun. Music isn't about just money. That's what I know for sure. He told me that. Only last week Saturday, he told me that music isn't about money.
And he always loved to introduce everyone. He would bring youngsters to my program and say, Shanaz, you have to interview this person. She's such a chef. She's a singer. She's a dancer. He's always calling me, introducing people to my program. And he wants to give you that push. Not everybody is willing out there to give you a push.
Yeah. Actually, he was the first DJ that actually said that you know what, I'm going to push your song for you. Because when I first released my song like 3 weeks ago, no DJs was like, you know what, I'm here, I'm going to push you, I'm going to help you. I used to be messaging DJs from Guyana, Trinidad,
he looked at people
here.
who others are bypassing, and he looked at them to give them a break.
And he was the one to release my song.
So I had a charity event last year, 2 years ago, and I wanted a DJ that knows how to work the system, because I wanted professionalism. And I called him up and he said, I'm there. I picked him up, we did our thing, I dropped him back home, and I said, thank you. He was very nice, he was professional. He did DJ for Chutney Wine, Mr. Buddy Singh and his crew 2 years in a row. He DJ in the studio for them live also a few weeks ago. So he's always around everyone.
I see Robert Rump. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much. Ginsing, thank you very much. Shanaz Hussain, I miss you here tonight, so it's good to have you on. So thank you guys for watching. Please continue to share and support the family. Okay? You're watching Chit Chat with Shanaz and Ken here in Richmond Hill, Queens, and we are the residents of Djfrontline.
That's right. We always bring all the happy moments to you, but life is not always happy. I should say there's sadness and there's sometimes rain power.
Hello to Mavis Kisoon, Shanaz Hussain again. Thank you guys for watching. Shardalal, thanks for watching. Let's see who else we have. Karen Smith says the intersection where the accident occurred is very dangerous without a traffic light. Try to get this done. I'm certainly sure that we are. I saw Richard here, and I'm going to talk about it because I read his post today, and I think they are going to try to get a spotlight there. So I'm sure definitely something will have to happen. You know what the bad thing is, that when something bad happens, then something good is going to come out of it. But it's so sad
that
this
has
have
to
to happen.
lose a life to get this happen. Not so long ago, back in December, I actually had an accident around the Sept area, so it might be kind of a bad spot. So guys, we always encourage you to. Bikes are dangerous, first of all, but the drivers also have to pay an extra eye for bikers. As drivers out there, we have to look out for our bikers. Hey Paul, Ramdas, how you doing? Ryan, Jeffrey, beautiful Shanaz Hussain, thank you very much. I was there Saturday morning before anyone else made it on the scene.
Oh really?
Yes, I made it because I had a program and I had to get in the studio to set up, so we drove by there and there were still fragments of the bike, yellow bike that was on the floor with some blood. So
sure.
Seeing blood and parts of the bike, also it was a tragic accident. We're going to have Richard David coming on board to say something. Richard is a community man, and the beautiful Mavis Gibson, how you doing? So Richard, I know you posted something about that stop, the intersection where that accident happened. What can we do to get a stop sign there?
First of all, I'm heartbroken to have to be here and to join this family on such a tragic occasion, especially for somebody who's leaving behind 2 young kids who are only in high school. And the baby's on the way. I encourage folks to. The reason why there's so much public interest in this is because Frontline was such a good guy, and not a lot of people knew him.
Right.
But it's also heartbreaking because his entire life is now in Russia. Their entire lives is now in Russia.
Right.
So it's incredibly heartbreaking. Last night we had a candlelight vigil.
It was really good turnout. There are a lot of people who came. I saw the polls, but I was hoping to come here to his family and show some respect to the loved ones.
Yeah, and I'm here for that same reason as well. Last night we were at the intersection where the accident happened, and it's a one-way stop sign right now. It's not a four-way stop sign.
Really?
So everywhere, the truth is, everywhere in South Ozone Park, there isn't an intersection in South Ozone Park that has not seen an accident or a fatality. There's not an intersection in South Ozone Park that if you live on the corner house, a car hasn't driven into your house.
I see you said that today on your post.
Because it's the reality. And, the other thing is, what we're working on with the Department of Transportation, because of budget cuts, they've actually frozen all kinds of studies and additional traffic enhancements. They only want to give us tickets for the cameras.
Right.
Collect our money. But because there's a budget deficit, they're telling us that they don't want to, they're unable to do
A
this.
stop sign will definitely save a lot of lives. If we need signatures, we need a petition going. Richard David is a guy, and believe me, we will get all of our members that's here right now in Richmond Hill to sign that petition just to get a stop sign, not a light. And I know a light is quite expensive, but the sign, just to say slow down, so
Well, to calm traffic, there are a lot of things you can do. You can put stop signs, you can put speed bumps, you can put a traffic light,
Right.
You can do dividers, you can do flashing, you can do combinations of things. And so that's why it's helpful to do a study to see what's based on traffic patterns, what is the most ideal. Maybe a traffic light is most ideal there. And so I'm asking the Department of Transportation to do a study to tell us quickly what needs to be done here. And if you'd like to get involved, reach out to me. My name is Richard David. This kind of thing, to be honest with you, a petition it's probably gonna slow it down. But I'd encourage you, the head of DOT in Queens, her name is Polly Trachtenberg. I have her email address, it's actually on their website. Send her an email. Tell her we want a traffic study done at the intersection of 120th Street and Lynn Boulevard. And the more emails that she gets, and we're courteous people, we're not, insulting anyone when we're sending these messages. But the more messages that Nicole Garcia gets, and Polly Trachtenberg, the faster they're going to move on this. And so things like budgets and all of these things, if they're in public interest and we're saving lives, that's the most important thing.
That's true. And you know what? No matter how expensive it is, life, there was no price to life. You know what I'm saying? So they need to do something about this. And as you said, do a study and see how much people get in accident, how much people die, and see what best they can do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you will put some steps and help get things done here.
Steps in the steps, I like that.
Steps in the
Mr. Hariprasad. So I've spoken to the community board. This is community board 10. The next step is to talk with the council member. Her name is Adrienne Adams. And then collectively we can work with DOT to see that our community safety is really taken care of. But I gotta say this. You can put 100 stop signs and lights on every single block.
Right.
It's up to the individual to stop.
Right.
And-
Obeying the rules are one thing. Making the rules
But we have a car culture in South Ozone Park, in Richmond Hill, and other places in New York among Guyanese people. Every family member in the house has a car.
Right.
And our parents have an obsession with buying their boys, 17 or 18 years old, a car.
Yes.
The first thing, the kid hasn't even graduated from high school yet, they have a car already.
Yeah.
And I really think that that's it really creates a dangerous situation. Every summer, I go to so many of these where young people die. Every summer.
Wow.
And so Frontline, he's well known, and so there's a lot of interest.
And there's a lot of tension in this case.
The level of car fatalities in our community is incredibly high. Incredibly high. And there's not that many of us. there's just a few of us. We're very special people.
Right.
Right? And so we can't lose each other. They're just not on.
Absolutely. But you know, Richard, as you know, I work in this community where we have a lot of youths, people who do drugs and alcohol and so on. And you are correct. We buy our children nice cars, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and so on. But on the flip side of that, we really don't pay attention to know if our children are drinking and driving. So since we're talking about that, I think we need to, and this is not about anybody who died, since we're talking about safety, we should encourage people not to drink and drive. What's your message?
There's a reason that we have Uber, and it's so convenient. Call Uber. It's like $10, $20 to get us home safely. Now, this summer is a little more calm because of COVID, where we lost a lot of our community members. In an average summer with endless backyard parties, and it's beautiful to be here. I'm so happy to be a part of this beautiful, loving community where we celebrate everything.
Right.
We lose a lot of people every summer, every year to car accidents.
So probably we should do a nice show together and see how we can help our community with this drunk driving.
Isn't this the show?
Drinking.
No.
But together, Shanaz and myself, we always try to see how
Guys,
we can help our society.
When last you get a view of, I know COVID held us down for a little bit, of Domino's or what's going on. So let's take a scene, behind the scene of what's going on at the Wake House. So make you guys feel a little bit like you're here. Hey Sonia Chandini, how you doing? Ryan Jeffrey said, contribute to that GoFundMe link on behalf of Island Zone Radio. Shanaz Musical Sensation would like to express our sympathy and condolences to the entire family and all the friends and loved ones. Sometimes, you know, friends means more to some than family, because they have a closer relationship with their friends than they do with their family. So we have to express it, not just to families, but to our friends and our neighbors.
That's right. And you know, everyone in our community is valuable. So we have to take care of our community. And that's why we have a guy like Richard here to together, Shanaz, myself. I'm sure that we, in future, that we can bring some attention to these things that's going on here in our community.
Hey Karen Smith, how you doing? She said, not a stop sign, a traffic light is needed. Also the curbside. Thank you very much. We'll definitely get to all your comments. Hey Roy Chan, how you doing? Wacko, good evening to you. Let's turn the camera around so you guys can see the Wake House.
Camera block.
We actually, the fireplace is right next to us, so that's a good thing. We're getting some heat. You want more from Shanaz?
Flip it now.
No, don't take it out.
Flip it now.
Okay, that's better. They have our host and host, Mr. Imran Ahmad.
I really posted it.
Hare यत्र पाटुदनुर्धरा तत्र श्रीविजयोर्भूतिर् ध्रुवानितिर्मतिर्मम. O Arjuna, whosoever recognize me, whoever thinks of the Gandiva bow, whoever recognize you, O Arjuna, to that person, when the Atma ready to leave this body, to that person, salvation or moksha is there for that person. And so, Udesh, I pray and I ask God to bless you. I happen to know you from your birth, growing up, we grew up together, and you're always a wonderful person. We ask for the Lord.
You're not coming?
No, I went out.
We'll put our host and host, Mr. Imran, on the camera. So our host, thank you. I know you're an essential part of our community as well, and a very good friend of DJ Frontline. You actually share radio time with him almost every weekend. What do you have to say?
Well, first of all, I think that everyone plays a very strong and significant part in the community. From the businessmen and women, from the community leaders, spiritual leaders, DJs, audio engineers. I mean, I think that there are moments where we go through an entire event without really showing our appreciation to audio engineers, and they're the ones who really make our event. And when you think about it, Frontline was the one, he was at the front line of almost all the successful events, that whether it's on behalf of, Roshan or the Abbey Queens family, on behalf of yourself, or any, because I know you've worked with him before in Shanaz. Yes. And by the way, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. But he was truly someone who really believed in doing things, from the sincerity of his heart. Whatever. I mean, there could be an organization that didn't have that much funding and probably wouldn't even offer any sort of money for services, but yet still he gave it his all. I mean, he was someone who was there, who was genuine, and I think that you'll have many other DJs, and I'm not trying to discredit all the DJs. They'll bring the talent, but what's important is that they take a lesson from his page. Be sincere, be humble. In fact, it's funny. I recently heard a conversation from one of my radio managers, with Press Radio. Actually, that's one of the second radio stations that I'm on. The gentleman had a mixer board that's been broken for a few years, and Frontline just happened to pass by and offer to fix it. And he wasn't being paid to fix it, but after several weeks, I mean, he would first introduce himself as Harry. He didn't really introduce himself as DJ Frontline. After a few weeks, the owner said, I think you look very familiar. Do you DJ? He's like, yeah, they call me DJ Frontline. So he's very humble. He didn't boast too much about what he knows or what he doesn't know. Whatever he can do, he did to the very best of his ability.
And he's always there at any charity event. He's always volunteering his time and his effort and his ability to make a difference in everybody's life.
Yeah, and it's funny. He taught us a lot. He unknowingly taught us a lot about how to be a good human being. And he taught us a lot about himself in so many ways, without actually saying it. When I came to learn of his passing, actually, and I came home and we had the wakes for the last few nights, I met his daughter and his wife, and listening to the stories about some of the bhajans that he would sing, and he's truly trained his daughters really well. He's taught them well, and I think that apart from being a good person, he was a good father. He instilled good values in his daughters, and we can only hope that they'll carry that legacy. So you talk about trying to make a difference in everyone's life. Well, the difference starts at home, and I think he did a great job with that, as well as out in the community.
That's right. His daughters are actually sitting in there reciting those bhajans, And as we always I said before, that it doesn't hit them as yet, but when everybody leaves, that's when it's going to actually kick into them that they lost their dad. Right. He's not coming back. Right?
Well, you know, it's funny, and it's funny you say that because I have to commend his daughter, his younger daughter, for really acknowledging the fact that while her dad might not be here physically, yet she's still going to always be, he's still going to always be a part of her. In fact, I know some of you, if you were fortunate to watch the video, she happened to, his younger daughter happened to say that somewhere along the, throughout the proceeding last night, she happened to hear her father's voice in her head. And she said that her dad wanted the gathering to sing this particular bhajan. So you see right away that that connection has been established. And I think that it is imperative upon both daughters to know that through every good moment, through every bad moment, Dad is going to be showering his blessings from the heavens above. And all they can do is make him proud by continuing to lead his legacy. He left behind a great boy, so definitely.
That's right. Thank you, our host and host, Mr. Imran Ahmad. Hey, Karen Smith, how you're doing? Good evening to Sherry Karim. Hi. Sherry Karim, Chandra Lal, how you doing? Shireen Basant, how are you doing? Alvin Ramsroop, thank you very much. You know, I love presenting happy events to you, but unfortunately sometimes we have to deal with death, which is part of life. You know, you have life, you have death. So here we are, showing respects. We have Richard David, and I know everyone is saying keep your mask on. Yes, if you don't have it on, stay far from someone. We are trying our best. Iqbal Sharif, thank you very much. Iqbal said to say hello to Imran and Roshan. Rakesh, thank you very much. Bibi Darren Ryan, how you doing? Ryan Jeffrey. Guys, we're urging you to just contribute $5 to that GoFundMe link that Ryan posted up in there. It's for his final expense because, you know, no one planned for that. And with all the oncoming expense, you know, you can expect his wife to be overwhelmed with 2 daughters and a baby on the way and final expense. So do contribute, you know, it wouldn't hurt anyone to give $5.
And if I can also add one thing, that I know that there are many families right now. I mean, COVID is something, and I do have my mask here. Thank you to those. I know, good call. Good night to you. But we do know that financially it's very difficult when a lot of people contribute. If you can, whatever you can give will go a far way. But even if you can't, find out how you can basically offer some words of comfort to the family. I think that they'll truly appreciate that. Even if you have no means of getting in contact with them, say a prayer for them. That's prayer will go for you.
That's right. See, they are being safe. They're practicing social distancing or wearing their mask. And I wish I could take you back to listen to some more bhajans inside, but I don't want to be rude and have camera in their face while they're praying. So we will.
You can set it. You can put it on. We put it yesterday. There's a spot. We had put the stand on the table.
Okay. So maybe we'll have. I think Imran's shoes is much easier to take off than mine, so he'll go inside and take you guys to get some inside. Hey, Saranger, how are you doing? Rakesh, thank you. Yes, so Imran will take you guys inside. Stay tuned. You're locked on to Island Zone Radio with It's Chit Chat on a Monday night. We are here, Kenneth and myself, Richard David. So we'll take you so you guys could actually listen to some of the prayers, and we'll be right back. So thank you.
One second.
जिंदगी के सफर में गुजर जाते हैं जो मैं से भजले Guru Sharanam. Udesh, we are celebrating your life, but just to let you know, you have broken so many hearts and you have caused so much pain because you just disappeared from nowhere. You came and you just left without giving us any notice. And we will miss you so very much. Manasa bhajale Guru Sharanam Dustare bhava sagare Sharanam Manasa bhajale Guru Sharanam Dustare bhava sagare Sharanam Guru Maharaj Guru Jai Jai Guru Maharaj Guru Jai Jai Bhajanath Sat Guru Jai Jai Bhajanath Sat Guru Jai Jai Manas Bhajale Guru Sharanam Dustar Bhava Sagar Sharanam Manas Bhajale Guru Sharanam Dustar Bhava Sagar Sharanam Dustar Bhava Sagar Sharanam Dustar Bhava
The soothing voice of the dear sister. Let us all bow heads, friends, once more, as the atmosphere is rendered very tranquil and serene, very solemn, very spiritual. We can feel the cosmic presence of Lord Krishna, and we can also intimately feel the very wonderful presence of the Atma. The soul never dies, as Panditji refers, says, and rightfully quotes from the Bhagavad Gita. The soul cannot be destroyed. It cannot be exterminated. It cannot be decimated. It cannot be in any way exploited. For the soul cannot be burned, cut, destroyed. The soul cannot in any way be annihilated. It is not to be wet or burned or dried, nor can it lose its strength. It cannot evaporate. For the soul rightfully is Amar Hai. It is eternal and immortal. We bow our heads in prayers as we seek the blessings and benedictions for a Master who loves everyone. Some may call him Jesus, and rightfully. Some may call him Allah, and rightfully. Some may refer to him as Omkar, and rightfully. Some may call him Krishna and Ram, Yahweh, Jehovah. These are his precious names, and anyone who mothers, sings and calls upon him by these names, he responds. He's not biased. He's not judgmental. He's fair and perfect and above imperfection, defects and deficiencies. He lives in everyone's heart, and he loves all humanity, irrespective of their ethnicity, their cleavage, their political persuasion, or their background, religious or otherwise, economic or otherwise. God is fair and just. We pray for his support, we pray for his blessings, his faith, and also his personal touch of life. O Krishna, we call out to you, for you are that boatman to sail us, to ferry us across the choppy, turbulent waters and oceans of life. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namaha Om Parthaya Pratibholitam Bhagavate भगवत नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम्। ॐ नमस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुद्धिर फुलारविन्दयतपत्रनेत्रः येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम। Death has always troubled mankind. There has never been a man or a woman or a child or an entity who says that they have never feared death. Death is possibly human civilization's most dreaded factor or phenomena. It really disrupts a family when it happens. You lose your balance, you become emotionally drained, it gives you a different course of life, it robs you of peace of mind, especially when someone so very close has passed on. But friends, death is not the most dreaded thing according to Gita. What is good in you, if you allow what is good in you to die, that is the most dreaded form of death. If you have light and cannot give light to this world, that is the most dreaded thing. If we have love in our heart and cannot give love but hatred, that is the most dreaded aspect of life. And we can go on, and we can go on, and we can go on, infinitely, unendingly. All scriptures say the same thing, whether the Quran, the Bible, or the Gita. They all concur or agree on many, many points. God is one. One must die. No one lives forever. Respect your parents. Obey the words of the Lord. Read the scriptures. Befriend it. Consult it. Find counsel in it. Find comfort and joy and knowledge and happiness. Turn the pages for comfort. Know who you are through the scriptures. Know where you're going through the scriptures. The scriptures carry all the answers to life. If your mind is troubled or clouded by doubts, if you're weary, if you're distressed, depressed, if you are feeling disgruntled or disoriented, depressed and despondent, the scripture is there. Like I said, broadly speaking, Christianity, Islam, or Hinduism, they all have their own particular sources of information, revelations and guidance. Gita is one such book. And so we must relate to our scriptures for guidance, for comfort, day to day, regularly. So let us hear what the Gita says, how a man should live his life. If any one of us follows what Gita says, when we die, we go right away to heaven. If we follow what Gita says, and he talks about the soul's presence on earth, what each one of us must do, what Krishna expects. A wife expects a husband to be like this. A husband expects a wife to be like this. Parents expect children to be in such way. We expect the government to do certain things. What about the CEO of the world? Krishna is considered the chief executive officer of the world. He expects us to fulfill his mandate, his laws and rules and regulations. And he is asking all of us, what's your life? You have to live this way. And you become his best friend. He says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitraha Karuna Evacha Nirmamo Nirahamkaraha Samadukaha Sukha Kshami Santushtaha Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dhrida Nischayaha Mayarpito Mano Buddhiryo Madbhaktaha Samipriyaha Yasmano Dvijate Loko Lokano Dvijate Chayaha हर्षमर्ष भयोर्गिर्मुक्तो या सच मे प्रियः अनपेक्ष सुरधक्ष ओम अनपेक्ष सुचिरदक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यक्तः सर्वं परित्यागियो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः Samaha, and this one is very important. Samaha shatro cha mitra cha tata mana pamanayahu sito sa dukha dukeshu samaha sanga vivarcha. And this one word can right away remove all the crimes the world has. All the bloodshed and violence and the animosity and the disturbances that this world now experiences, all of that can right away cease forthwith if all of humanity were to follow this one word alone. Don't read all the scriptures, all the verses. If this one word, adveshta, do not have any bitterness against any form of humanity, and if you live this one principle alone, not to hate anybody, if you love everybody, this one statement alone will add divinity and dimension to your life. It will add humility and spirituality and love and long life and health and happiness if you love. Because when we hate, we gather lots of difficulties in our hearts, and that can cause problems between us and God. So Gita tells us, O Arjuna, the man who is spiritually inclined, the man who is righteous, the man who is God-fearing, this is his pattern. This is how he lives. This is how he speaks. This is how he dresses. This is how he sleeps. This is how he writes. This is how he wakes. This is how he acts. This is how he interpersonally reacts with people. He is very calm, very peaceful. He does not carry any jealousy, any envy, any ego. He is not boastful or egoistic. He's calm and simple and serene and undisturbed and unperturbed. These are the marks of the man who's close to me, O Arjuna, O my devotee, O my disciple, O my student, O my soldier, O my warrior, O my shishya. These are the marks of the man in whom God dwells perennially and permanently. He has no ill will. See that? He has no envy against anybody, irrespective of what they say and what they do. He can be condemned, he can be bad-mouthed, he can be demoralized or belittled, but he remains like me, undisturbed, calm and cool and serene. The more problems he has, the more pebbles he has, the more difficulties he faces, the stronger his relation to me gets more and more. Brothers and sisters, Santushtaha Satatam Yogi, what he says, that devotee, that humanity, that human being who is ever content in loss and gains, death does not trouble him, nor doth life worry him. He is sane and he is simple and he is undisturbed, he is peaceful. Nothing bothers him. Whether he loses or he is gaining, he is not troubled at all. He accepts life as it comes. And you and I should be like that, because someday the sun will shine, someday rain is going to fall. As businessmen, sometimes you will encounter losses, and sometimes you will get gains. And all of us are like that. When we're gaining, we're very quiet. But when we're losing, we can be heard very loudly, very thunderously. The Lord tells us again, brothers and sisters, He whose mind is under full control, who is resolving God in strong faith, who oftentimes relates to me, chants my glories, sings my praises, walks my way, calls upon me in good and bad times, who is always my best friend, who never loses sight from me, whose faith is unshakable, unwavering, and steadfast, and pillar-like, and strong, and formidable, and a force to be reckoned with. Such a devotee is never lost from me, nor am I lost from him, because in perilous times, in turbulent times, if a devotee remembers me, I remember him when he is joyful all times. My dear brothers and sisters, not to bore you, we chant one other shloka, then we shall conclude. Shri Radha Krishna Namaha. Om Jai Shri Radha 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 Jai Shri Krishna 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 Shri Radha Krishna Namaha. Shri Radha Om Jai Shri Radha Jai Shri Krishna 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 Shri Radha Namaha. Shri Radha Krishna. Once more. Om Jai Shri Radha Jai Shri Krishna Shri Radha Krishna Namaha. Shri Radha Krishna Namaha. O Samaha Shatru Mitra Cha Tatamana Pamanayo Hitu Masuka Dukeshu Samaha Sangha Vivartata. Om Jai Shri Radha Shri Krishna Shri Radha Krishna Namaha. And we concluded the first verse. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samavitayu Yutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaskaiva Kima Kurpat Sanjaya Jaho. Om Jai Shri Radha 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 Jai Shri Krishna 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 Shri Shri Radha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanur Mardanam Devaki Paramananda Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. Om Jai Shri Radha Jai Shri Krishna 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 Shri Radha Krishna Shri Radha Krishna Shri Radha Krishna. And finally, to all Hindus, Christians and Muslims and non-believers of God, the scriptures are very vital. It says, my devotee, my disciple, my follower is a person who has no enemy, no friend, no enmity. He's always peaceful, he's never disrespectful, he's balanced, he's equanimous in heat and cold, comfort and miseries, joy and sorrows, and indeed happiness and sadness. My dear brothers and sisters, he is a friend to all. So sisters and brothers, my dear sister Lisa, you're a very strong wife, strong daughter. Your parents love you, your daughters love you, your husband loves you, your sister loves you, brother loves you, and everyone here loves you, and you love her. Well, look at it. I don't have to do a census to know who loves and who doesn't. All of you love her, and you are my little sister. You are a woman of great character, and you are an epitome and a pillar of strength and faith. The Gita says you must cry. Listen to this philosophy now. Gita says, and you must cry, you have to cry. But Gita doesn't say lament. Gita says cry, but don't lament. So those two words are different. Lament means your entire life you're lamenting. Why did he die? Why did God take him? That's called lamenting. Gita does not encourage lamenting. Death is inevitable. We will all one day die. No one can stop death. Brothers and sisters. Everybody say after me, please. If life, again, if life is a sentence, death is the full stop. You write a sentence, every sentence must conclude with a full stop. But my friend, my brother, my son, whom I thought is smiling, and he's still smiling. He's a fighter, always smiling, and he wore a charm that magnetizes and captures everyone's attention wherever he goes. He's still smiling. Rest assured, he has not died. His soul has now become immortalized, and he is flying with his wings, swapping spirituality and serenity. May the waters help him, may the wind help him, may the cosmic elements push his soul forward towards the portals of mukti, salvation and liberation. We will be here almost every night, so you will hear more from us. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. So before we get back to my brother, we have Lisa G, who is a tower of strength, and Udesh is giving her the courage and the strength to sing, and their two wonderful daughters. So, oh, no problem. Oh. Nice to see my brother Buddy, my villager.
Thank you,
He's a great traveler.
Thank you, Benji.
He loves his the music. Anyone you want to sing, man.
Thank you, Benji. Indeed. In this life, we are all travelers.
आदमी मुसाफिर है, आता है जाता है, आते जाते रास्ते में आधे छोड़ जाता है। आदमी मुसाफिर है, जो का हवा
Now we will take the daughters of Lisa G and our late son. Yes.
Before I start, this isn't a budget, this is a song that I remember my dad would sing. I thought about it today, and it's a song that not necessarily me and my sister would sing, but it would be like from my mom to my dad, and we love him, we always will, and he'll always be with us. So. एक प्यार का नगमा है माँ जो की रवानी है एक प्यार का नगमा
Good, how are you? You have the stand. Well, say, hey, look. She finally inside. Yeah, but I didn't want to come and say hi to everybody. Hi.
Think you should say hi.
Say hi.
Hi. Hi, Shanaz. Take your shoes out and come inside.
This is the kitchen crew.
Yes. They work so very hard every night.
So let's show them some lunch. Ooh, you see, they're so good with the pilot. They're lighting. And these are the handsome guy who served the tea and the coffee.
The brother. You had anything to eat?
I had coffee and Polari and stuff outside.
Okay.
So, you know, we're well taken care of here.
If you think you should, you can go on that chair and you'll catch more.
We'll hold it. Get the camera crew so in case, you know, we see them outside and we want to hire them, you know.
Do you guys want some tea or coffee?
No, them boys stick off.
Okay.
Extra enough for the camera.
I'm just asking.
Well, you're live, so.
But we're not social distancing, which is bad.
That's okay. You gotta feed somebody to do the bad work, the hard work.
So, did you sing tonight?
No, go over there and you'll catch everything.
Yeah, you can actually rest it on the top there. It feels sit.
I was on this thing earlier. So.
Oh yeah, so they rest it over here.
You can catch everyone back here.
Thank you.
Good, how are you?
TV everywhere.
My condolences to the family. तुम विनती सुनो सबकी कल्याण करो जग का सरराह दिखा करके उदार करो दुर्गा उदार करो रे दुर्गा तुम विनती सुनो सबकी कल्याण करो जग का सरराह दिखा करके उदार करो दुर्गा उदार करो दुर्गा
There you have King Tony's
Thank you, Dhanyavad, my beloved Bhaya, for the soothing bhajan to Durga Ma. Thank you very much, Adi Dhanyavad. So, it's soon to approach 10 o'clock hour, so we will not go too extremely long beyond that hour, but still we will. So we have to wonderful Bhaya. So tomorrow we will recommence. Those who didn't get to sing, we will close off now. Again, I ask all of you, thank you very much on behalf of this very bereaving family, especially Lisa and her two wonderful daughters. We ask the Lord to grant them infinite, indomitable, immortal grace, compassion, love, and also to shower His choicest blessings, bliss, beatitude, benedictions upon them all, to give them the strength that they so need and want and cherish, having lost their father and her husband and son-in-law and friend, brother-in-law, and whatever the case may be. The atmosphere is rendered very gloom, dark, and dismal and abysmal. But with God's name being uttered, every iota and debris of darkness is gone into oblivion, and there is a shining sparkling, effulgent light now beaming from the horizon of the Lord's presence. Lord, we bow to your presence. Deliver us